YouTube. Tight shit. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my first YouTube video. Tight shit. My name's Robel. I go by Roblins. Some people call me Ro. Some people call me Daddy. But anyway, this is a tutorial that I did, simple ball fade tutorial. I call it the Jalen Hurt because you know my boy, he just won the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, my client, he got that Jalen Hurt look a little bit, so you know, it ended up working out. I'm not gonna waste too much more time, but before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Look, this is my first YouTube video, man. This is your chance to become a day one subscriber. I know you be telling people, oh,
I've been subscribed to him since day one,
but you lying. You lying. This is your chance. So just do it.
Tight shit.
Roll the film. Alright, YouTube, the first thing I'm doing is combing my client's hair with the grain. Now, when I say with the grain, I'm talking about the direction that the hair grows in. And I'm doing this because this is the direction I'm cutting it in. So I want to make sure I understand the curl pattern before I start cutting, minimize any chance of me patching him. And I'm using a 1.5 right here. That's generally a good length for waves. Obviously, you want to discuss with your clients about what length that they prefer. But if they say they don't know, or they say wavelength, 1.5 is generally the way to go. Alright, now the first thing I'm doing for this fade is creating the bald line. I'm doing this with my trimmers upside down. That way I'm not creating too harsh of a guideline to take out later, but at the same time still keeping everything nice and neat. And another thing you'll notice is I'm creating this bald line all the way around before I start any type of fade. That way I can make sure everything stays nice, neat, and even. The last thing I want is for one side of the fade to be higher than the other. So like I said, when it comes to cutting hair, everything needs to be nice, neat, and organized. If you can do that, you're setting yourself up with a good foundation for a clean fade. Now, before we move on, I want to give you guys an idea of how I split up the head to create a fade. Now, everything under this white line that I just created, I call it the blend zone. This is where I'm going to focus on blending that bald line we created into a one close. And where you see me drawing this red circle at is what I call the transition zone. Now, this area is where you'll focus on fading the blend into whatever they got on top. In this case, it's waves, but it could be curls, a comb over, or whatever the case may be. Now I'm drawing this green line to just give you guys a visual of how I split the blend zone into two different guidelines to be blended. It might sound a little confusing right now, but it'll make more sense as you see me do it in the next clips. Alright, so the first guideline is going to be the lever all the way open. Now if you don't know what that is, this is basically lever all the way open. It's the lever all the way down like this. Here's lever closed. It's the lever all the way up like this. Here goes the lever halfway, 3/4, and then 1/4. Now these are all important things you're gonna need to know for the fade that I just taught you in 5 seconds. So you know, I think I deserve a like, right? Like, come on now. But anyway, so we're making that lever open guideline. Keep it nice, neat, and consistent, and even go over it a couple times to make sure it's that true lever open length. And then right here, I got the lever set at halfway open, and we're going to start to soften up that line by going up 3/4 the way of the guideline. And then here we go with the clipper 1/4 way open, and we are going to start to go up to the halfway point of the guideline. As you can see, the way I fade these guidelines is by creating them with the guard I choose and fading down by closing the lever until the line comes out. Very simple. And then the last step of this guideline is with the clipper all the way closed, and we're going to go up 1/4 of the guideline until that line is completely gone. And then my next step is with the clipper with the one guard all the way closed. Now I know some people like to use the one guard open, but I like to use closed because it creates such a nice, neat clear guideline that I can see, then I'm able to fade out later. And to fade this line out, we're going to come in with a 0 guard halfway open and slowly close it as we work our way down the guideline, just like how we did with the previous guideline opening and closing. And then I like to do detail work as I see it pop up in the fade, because sometimes the system is still going to leave you with dark spots because of the way your client's hair grows or their head shape or whatever the case may be. So the way I like to attack these is by slowly lowering the guard / closing the clipper until the spots fade away. Alright, so now we're going to work on blending the waves into the blend we just created. So to start, I'm using a 1.5 guard open, and I'll continue to drop the guards and the lever as I go down in this area. Now this is the transition zone that I was talking about that is connecting the blend to the waves. So whatever it takes to take this line out, use it. Start with a bigger guard and work your way down. And here's a technique that I learned with people with waves that you can use. So since I cut his hair down with a 1.5 with the grain, I'm using a 1 guard closed with the grain to basically smooth out the line. And it makes sense because even when going with the grain, you're still working your way down with a smaller guard. And here I am dropping down to a 1 open, and if need be, I'll keep closing the lever until it's all the way faded. And you'll see right here, I even dropped down to a 0 guard open. And like I said, whatever it takes to take this line out, I'm gonna use. So even if I need to close this, I will. But a thing that I like to note is if you're using a guard this low, this high in the fade, don't use too much hand pressure. Be very light-handed and adjust your pressure as you would the lever. Now, same on this side, start with the lever open and work your way down. I'm not going to do too much talking on this side because it's the exact same steps, so I'm going to let you guys watch and pick up on the steps as you see me do them. And the back is the exact same steps as the sides. You basically just using this section to connect the two sides. So I'm gonna just speed past this part. And right here, I'm using the electric foil shaver. Now, you definitely want to be careful when using this, especially on black skin, because some skin can take it and others may be too sensitive and cause bumps. So ask your client if they have sensitive skin before you use it, and be cautious, especially in the back of the head. A lot of times I'll use this on the sides and not the back of the head, especially if I suspect that they may bump up. Now here you see me applying hot lather and a hot towel, and I do this step to clean the client's hair before the lineup so it becomes a little more crispy, and on top of that, it's a nice service. So here I am using a little bit of hairspray and cold air to lock his hairs into place, and this will really just make it a little bit more crispy. But to start this lineup off, I'm actually going in with my razor and starting with the vertical bars to make sure I don't push them back, because you have a lot more control with the razor than you do with the trimmers. And from my experience, the vertical bars is the easiest part of the lineup to push back, so if you can get these nice and natural, you are far less likely to push your client's hairline back. Now with the lineup, I started the middle and I used their nose as a center guideline and worked my way to one side then back to the other, making sure everything is nice, crispy, and natural. Emphasis on the natural. Don't push nobody back, boy or girl. Shit, shout out to the female barbers. Now to complete this look, I am using a little bit of enhancements. Now, my opinion on enhancements is it should be completely up to your client. I think you should have the capability to do it, but before applying it, you should ask your client if they want it or not. With my experience, most clients don't really want it like that because they want to be able to take a shower and still have the same cut that they left with. But some clients do like the look, and with the right care, it can last a couple days. So.
My favorite verse, you know, I went through a lot of stuff in college and it kind of stuck with me, John 13:7. You may not know now, but later you'll understand. Hopefully people understand.
Alright YouTube, that does it for the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.